Hello ladies and gentlemen, Brock the Collector here, coming back to you guys with another video. Today we are going to be covering, I'm going to be showing to you guys the Thor Love and Thunder wave for the Love and Thunder movie coming out July 8th, 2022, I believe. So yeah, this movie has been delayed a few times, much like a lot of movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Phase 4, you know, coronavirus, set delays, whatever. Plenty of things that cause all these delays, but at least we've seen a teaser, finally. We know it's finally coming out. These figures actually dropped a week before the teaser, I believe. Around a week before, maybe like a week and a half, because I remember seeing these figures leaked out Saturday. And Saturday of, like, I think it was the 9th, had it been? Yeah, Saturday the 9th. And then, surprisingly, just the following week, they started showing up in Walmart. Now, we had known, if you had kept an eye on the rumor lists, we had known that this wave was, like, coming. You know, we had seen the whole rumor list and everything. People were speculating what figures would be in it. We knew at the very least we had to have gotten, like, a Gorr and a Jane, but, and a Thor of some kind, but we didn't know what else was going to be in the wave. And it turns out that there were actually a few figures in here that actually surprised me with their appearance. And now I actually know that they finna be in the Love and Thunder film. So that's pretty cool to know. And so yeah, this is a 7-figure wave, I believe. Thor, the Thor as we see up there in his new armored appearance, does not appear to come with the Build-A-Figure piece. He is the double packed in the wave. And Korg is the Build-A-Figure. This wave has, as I said before, been showing up at Walmarts. They have been street dated in some areas. Some areas you're able to buy them. Some areas you're able to bypass them. But then other areas just people get them taken away from them. I had actually gotten my Thor and Groot. If you guys follow my community posts, you have known that I had found the whole wave first. And I was able to buy them. I had found, not the whole wave. I had found 5 out of the 7 figures in the wave. And the only figures I needed was Jane and Groot for a couple days. And I had actually found them the next day, but at the Walmart that I went to the next day, they were street dated and they were taken away from me. They were they had said that they were recalled. I'm pretty sure that Walmart eventually recalled the wave after they realized it was leaking. A Hasbro employee probably sent out to Walmart just like, guys, y'all can't sell these. And then Walmart was like, crap, we messed up, so we're gonna recall these. And yeah, shoot, a bunch of half-selling stuff. But eventually, I think this week on Monday is when I finally got my hands on the whole wave, found Jane and Groot at Walmart, and completed my Korg Build-A-Figure. And honestly, I love this wave, I gotta admit. It's a pretty nice wave. I know that this wave, it's a sort of controversy amongst people. It's really just, nowadays with MCU waves, the question is, the people who like MCU figures are gonna want to pick up the wave, and the people who don't necessarily like collect MCU or whatever, they're gonna not want it. So it's like, it's basically, you know, just that sort of polarization thing. We're kind of used to that. But for most people I've seen, for a lot of people I've seen, they tend to have pretty good looks on this wave as far as a lot of the character designs here, because we are getting some character designs I've been looking forward to seeing MCU-ified for a long time. So we're gonna start off here. We're gonna start with let's start with Thor. So this is our new armored Thor appearance for the Love and Thunder movie. As you can see up there, I have him on a flight stand. We're gonna be going through the whole wave in this video real quick. So Thor starting off, so he is double packed in the wave, and as you can see in his appearance, this is a very unique Thor appearance. We've been seeing the MCU in Phase 4 sort of return back to a lot of like classic-ish designs, you know what I'm saying? A lot of designs that are comic inspired, really. And this appears to be a play on Thor's like Rune King Thor outfit from what I've been hearing. And honestly, after looking at images, I can see that from, you know, the gold and the blues. I love how it looks. I really do like the whole look of this suit. Although one thing I'll say about Thor, overall as a figure, he's great. Got the pinless legs, got the you know, got the standard Marvel Legends articulation. The arms, I believe, they have pins in them. This is actually the only figure in the wave that has pins in his arms, funny enough. So the arms aren't 100% new. I believe that at least the bicep and the elbow part of the arms are reused from the Infinity War Thor that came out back in 2018. So that's actually pretty interesting to note down, because I don't know exactly why they reused that. There's a lot of new going on with this figure, so I don't get why they didn't just completely do the arms all new. But I mean, I'm cool with it. It looks good. They repainted it gold, so the gold matches. The gold is very consistent amongst the figure because it's all painted on. I know that a lot of the times when Hasbro, whenever they do gold, they can either like basically mold it in gold plastic, or they can just actually like paint the gold on, and it always looks so much better whenever it's painted on. As you can see, that Thor there, he looks fantastic with that gold. Now, I only have one issue with this figure, and the issue is that there is paint missing at certain areas. Now, the area I find particularly, like, cringy to see where the paint is missing is on the leg. So as you can see, down there at the boots, you can see that very shiny metallic blue and gold that looks incredibly amazing down there at the boots. So you can see that down there. But you move up the legs and you can see how they have molded the scale armor. The molding on this figure is incredible. But you can see once it gets to the thighs, look at the outside part of the thighs. That's supposed to have that same scale mail, like gold, blue sort of pattern there. And they just didn't paint that on this figure. They sculpted it beautifully, but it's not painted on the thigh. And that's one thing that I don't like. I don't like there just being a sudden absence of paint. And this is a similar issue that I had with the Wanda figure from last year. My camera wanted to focus in on Katie over there. That's a similar issue I had with the Wanda Maximoff figure from last year. That figure did not have some paint on her thighs. So those silver paint stripes. Thor is missing a little gold plate of armor right there painted on. So as you can see, they sculpted it though. I'm trying to get a zoom in on that. Camera's having some trouble focusing from this far away. But y'all can see it on the outside of the leg, right? You can see that sort of sculpting pattern there. So that looks... The sculpt looks nice, they just didn't paint it in, so that's one sort of issue I have with it. But I feel like with all the paint that had to go into this design, they had to cut some corners somewhere, because the rest of it just looks beautiful, especially when I come to the upper torso like this. That looks incredible. Yeah, I like that a lot. I like this new Thor outfit. That looks great. Plastic cape, of course, but they are getting better at doing the plastic capes to the point where they are very, like, pliable and they can move around, so they don't really, like, completely traffic cone the figure. I mean, we'll get to traffic cone in another figure in this wave, and I think y'all might know who that is. But yeah, so Thor, honestly, pretty good figure. I like the helmet look. If you guys wanted to swap the head with the Ravager Thor, that head swap does work pretty well. I can't try it in this video. I'm probably not going to take these down. It took me a super long time to balance Thor on this stand like that, you know, right there. But that head swap does work. So yeah, definitely if you're interested in head swapping that, that will be beneficial for you. Alright, moving on. So we're going to move on to Ravager Thor next. And try to get a good look at him. So Ravager Thor, this is a figure that a lot of people want for this wave because I've been hearing a lot of people comparing it to a Thunderstrike. I remember they created a Thunderstrike figure for the Marvel Comics line. I think it was 2 years ago, 2020, in a Gamerverse wave. So now seeing that sort of MCU-ified, I guess, it's not the same exact character, but it is a similar costume design. I can kind of see where people are drawing it from. And I love this suit design. Of course, this is I think it's all new pinless buck, but I could be wrong on the arms. I don't know, because with pinless, it's getting very hard to tell what's reused and what's not. You know, usually you can identify those pins from other figures, but when it's pinless, it all starts to blur together to me because it's just all so great. I love pinless. But yeah, this figure is 100% completely pinless. As you can see down here at the boots, he sort of has Thor's sort of boot straps around there, so as you can see him right there. That looks pretty nice. I like that a lot. So that's sort of like designed from his, that's inspired from like his classic appearance, I believe. And as we move up, you can see the pants looking real great. So this is Thor after he glows up again. Clearly. Pinless arms looking great. Stormbreaker, the only accessory this and the Rune King Thor, or the Armored Thor, come with in this wave. Well, the Armored Thor actually comes with another hand, an interchangeable fist, I believe. But the Ravager Thor, this wave does not have a lot of extra hands. Groot comes with some extra hands, I believe. And I believe other than that, it's just the King Thor, or it's just the Armored Thor, and that's it. So, quite interesting, actually. This wave does not have that many interchangeable hands, unlike the Doctor Strange wave, where every single figure in that wave felt like came with a multitude of hands and accessories you can switch them out with. But this wave, what I feel like it lacks for in hands, it makes up for in like paint and face sculpts, because a lot of the paint and detailing on these figures in this wave is just absolutely phenomenal. It's like what you'd expect out of the premium lines in the Infinity Saga and the 10th anniversary. But now getting a close look on that head sculpt though, so there you guys go, look at that. It might look weird coming off on camera, but that looks just like Chris Hemsworth to me. I like that a lot. Great head sculpt. Great head sculpt. And of course, they, as you guys can see some of the black little, some of the black, how I say, texturing on the jacket. That does continue to the back of the figure, so they did not skimp out on the paint on the back, which I love. It's always a good thing. And he comes with Stormbreaker as well, just like Armored Thor. One thing I will say about these Stormbreakers, though, is that the Stormbreaker I've noticed that they've been using ever since the Infinity War, or ever since the Endgame Wave 3 Thor. I don't really like that Stormbreaker that much. This Stormbreaker bends very easily. I would prefer it if they used the Infinity War Stormbreaker, except they would just change the paint on the axe part, because that paint was a little bit too dark gray, I believe. And this paint is like a nice silver, so I like the Stormbreaker that they're using there, like that paint on it. It's just that, you know, the actual Groot's arm, I feel as if, though, it needs to be a little bit thicker to prevent warping, because it's going to happen, especially in these poses that I have him with. And it's already kind of happened to my bro Thor, as you guys can see back there. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but we're going to continue strong. So those two Thor figures, really nice figures, of course. Some standouts from the wave, I believe. Now we're going to get to one figure that a lot of people don't really like. I'm just going to move Valkyrie out of the way real quick. King Valkyrie right there. Great looking figure. We'll get to her in a second. So this is a Star-Lord. Peter Quill. Let's see. Let me try to turn him around for you guys. I'm trying to have him sort of looking at Thor. So yeah, so there's Star-Lord. So Star-Lord is a figure in the wave that a lot of people have been complaining about. But then again, the Guardians of the Galaxy have been, for MCU collectors, it's been kind of hard to complete the Guardians of the Galaxy, as well as comic collectors, I believe. Guardians of the Galaxy haven't really been, they haven't really had a wave or a center in Marvel Legends ever since their movie back in 2017. So damn near 5 years since we've had a nice Guardians of the Galaxy focus in the line. But I feel like that's going to change real soon, considering these and the Guardians of the Galaxy movie is about to come out next year. I'm sure that they're going to make some new MCU figures, of course, comic figures to supplement the Guardian sort of, the lack of Guardians figures we've been getting these past few years. But Peter Quill, honestly, speaking about this figure alone, and unbiased perspective, I think it's a pretty nice figure. It has new pinless arms, a new torso, I believe. And that torso does look very much like his Infinity War torso, like jacket vest thing. So I kind of like that. The only thing I'll say about it is that the trench coat that he comes with, while it has great detailing and great paint on it, it does kind of cause a traffic cone sense. A little bit. You know, it's kind of hard for him to move his legs. And the way that the trench coat is packed in the package, because of like, you see he has pegs on his legs, so you can plug his blasters in there, his elemental blasters, I believe it was what it's called. But since those pegs are there and they're like, he's sort of tightly secured in the plastic in the package, it causes his trench coat to warp a little bit. So it kind of looks like, you know, he has huge hips when you take out the figure out of the package, because those pegs there that you secure the blasters into, they cause some warping. But other than that, honestly, I think that the figure is great. Like, a lot of people have been complaining about the head sculpt. One thing I'll say is that the head sculpt looks a lot better in person. I definitely see Chris Pratt in there. I see him, for sure. Zooming out so we can get a better look. And I'm going to try to turn down this brightness. I see Chris Pratt in there. Chris Pratt, excuse me, not Chris Pratt. A lot of people have been saying that he looks kind of like Ego, which I do sort of see. My Ego figure is trapped behind there. You know, he's very far away. So it'd be difficult for me to pull him out to sort of compare that. It does have some Ego sort of like aura to it, but it does look like Chris Pratt. It looks like it looks like Andy, you know what I'm saying? So honestly, I don't really have much of an issue with it. Pinless arms, of course. I love the sculpting on the arms, the detail in there. The legs are reused from previous Guardians of the Galaxy Star-Lords, though. That are very Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 legs, I believe they're actually Volume 2 waist down to the legs, because as well as that, his the peg for his Walkman is still there. And he does not come with the Walkman. I've just given him one of the ones I've accumulated from over the years. But honestly, it's a pretty good looking figure. This is probably a figure that might get, you know, clearance a little bit. I don't know, depending on what happens to it. I mean, shoot, a lot of people probably don't have a Star-Lord, and I know that they are slowly becoming more expensive, especially with the Guardians movie building more and more hype and the holiday special coming out at the end of the year. So he might be worth a cop for a lot of y'all. And honestly, I don't think that he's that bad of a figure at all. But I think for a lot of people, he might just be a figure that people can pass on because, you know, he's not necessarily a necessary figure for the Thor Love and Thunder movie. I'm sure that we'll get another Star-Lord next year with his movie release, just like how we got like 2 Doctor Stranges in quick succession. So if you guys don't want to pick him up, I can totally understand that. But he is a fine figure in and of itself. So I don't think he's deserving of all the hate. You know what I mean? He's pretty alright. That's a nice little wave inclusion, you know? Not totally horrible. Alright. Next up, we're going to move on to Christian Bale's Gorr the God Butcher. Now, from what I know about Gorr in the comics, I actually know a little bit about Gorr because my friend was telling me about him. Apparently, Gorr comes from a planet in which him and his family, they were all starving. And he would always pray to gods to, like, rescue him or something like that. Or to, like, save his family, you know, like, sort of bring him back into good health or something like that. And the gods would just never answer. So I think he became convinced that gods don't really, like, exist until he saw Null, which we just got a Marvel Legends figure revealed of just a few weeks ago. He saw, like, Null crash down onto his planet fighting another god, and basically Null had, like, wounded this god, and this god was asking Gorr for help because Gorr had witnessed the whole thing, and Gorr started going off on the god about, like, how you know, like, these gods, they've never been there for his family. Where were they? Where they were starving, where they were suffering. So Gorr takes the Necro Sword of Null, which I believe, I don't know if Null gave it to him or Null just left and he left it there. But Gorr takes the all-black Necro Sword, which we can see him holding here, I believe, and he kills the god with it. And the Necro Sword sort of gives him all sort of different powers, super strength, you know, the ability to fly in space, whatever. And he's starting to go on a mission targeting all gods as sort of a vengeance for them not really being there for his family. So it sounds like a pretty decent, you know, villain origin story. I mean, that does make sense. I would be pretty angry myself too if I found out that that, you know, gods really do exist if I haven't believed so all this time because they haven't been there for my family. So I mean, I'd be pretty angry too, Gorr, but I mean, who knows? He probably still crazy going out killing all these gods. But the figure himself, it does look really good. Now, I will say that, yeah, a lot of people have been complaining about the traffic cone sense here, and just the character design in general. I've seen the comic character design, and even looking at that comic character design, looking at images before this wave was revealed, I was like, man, I hope that, like, I just love how to see how the MCU would do it. Maybe they could bring in some of the black tattoos, the black tentacles. I would have liked to have seen that, but then again, I mean, now it's just like a white costume, so we'll see how it looks. Maybe this might not even be his final appearance, we don't know. Because, you know, these figures are based off of, like, concepts and stuff like that. So it could be that when he gets the Necro Sword, he becomes a different sort of appearance or something like that. Who knows? But I don't feel like he's going to look like this the whole movie. I could very well be wrong. But if he doesn't and we get another updated Gorr in the future, I would not be opposed to that. But considering this one we have right here, it looks good to me. Christian Bale, I can see the likeness in his face a little bit. It has a lot of detailing and just scratches and marks up on the face up there. So yeah. I'll tell y'all now that I like the all pinless sculpt. I love the sculpt of this figure. That's pretty good. This figure is one that I feel like would be really amazing if they did it in a pinless. I mean, not pinless. If they did it with soft goods. But we know that that's sort of hard for the Legends team to do. They don't really do it that much unless it really, really, really is essential to the basic posability of the figure. And I guess legs just don't have that. But I mean, you can still get the legs to crawl out of that little skirt right there and get them into something. As you can see, the legs are pinless themselves as well. Only accessory he comes with is the all-black Necro Sword. He didn't come with any hands, much like a lot of the other figures in this wave. But the sword itself does look good. There's a lot of sculpting there that's hard for me to pick up on the video, but the sword looks good. Nice sculpt, some paint on the handle. And yeah, Gorr, he holds it well, so I can't wait to see how he comes into his own in the movie. I love the costume design, and I'm sure that that's not how it's going to end off, but I mean, for right now, that looks good, because I love figures that are like white, cream, whatever like that, because they add some nice contrast to this shelf. There's a lot of different colors, so seeing a figure that's just plain monochromatic white, as you guys can see even here in this background, Gorr does stick out to you guys. You can't lie, so I like that a lot. Next up is King Valkyrie, so we're getting on to some of the really good figures in this wave. King Valkyrie is a double-jointed, all-pinless female body, of course, so I always love to see that. The figure looks amazing. going from top to bottom. So this is her new design. I believe that there was another rumor report of a deluxe King Valkyrie, so we'll see how that comes, because this Valkyrie basically comes with everything I can imagine Valkyrie coming with. So a deluxe King Valkyrie, I don't know, maybe it could come with her Pegasus. Aragorn apparently is what I've been hearing. Oh, we'll see, we'll see. But for right now, this figure looks great. I love the black and white contrast on the chest, and I love the blue cape. I just love how that looks. All pinless but going down. She does not come with the staff you see her holding. That is actually a Okoye staff. But I only included it with her. I have her holding it here because if you guys remember back in Avengers Endgame, back when she was wearing that suit up there. That suit, which I really do like. So back when she was wearing that, she had grabbed Okoye's spear in the final fight, and she had stabbed a Chitauri Leviathan with it. And had sort of been dragging that thing through there and had destroyed it like that. So I just thought it would be cool to have her holding the spear there. But the sword does look really cool too. You can... I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to go there, but I tucked the sword into a strap that she has going around her because of her intricate sculpting. She got a bunch of straps going around the legs that you can plug things into. And I love the paint detail here, especially around the chest, man. She's super cool. The face sculpt. She got some very long braids that do kind of inhibit some articulation of the head. But it's not too horrible. It actually doesn't stop her from getting into something too crazy. The only thing is that because of those braids, it's kind of difficult for her to move her head up. You know. But I think that she's a great figure, man. The face sculpt, I gotta say, I don't know whether it's exactly better than the one that came out in 2019. The one that came out in 2019, even though it did kind of look like Rihanna, I still thought that it looked great. It looked like Tessa Thompson to me still. And this also does look like Tessa Thompson Valkyrie, but the other one in 2019 was also not bad either. So I can't really say decisively that this one was better in my opinion. I feel like the one in 2019 might have gotten her skin tone and the face like pretty freaking good. I would have not been mad if they changed the same basic face sculpt there and that just put on the new set of hair. But I'm also not opposed to this either. I don't think that this looks bad at all. I like this a lot. King Valkyrie looking super good. Home stretch. So this is the figure that's mainly reuse out of the wave. So this is Groot. But this Groot was released in an Infinity War pack about a few years ago. A pack that was really cheap for a really long time and then just started becoming expensive super duper fast. But yeah, so he looks pretty good. He looks pretty good. They updated the paint on him. Made the paint a little bit lighter, which I can like. I can definitely agree with. Change the lighting there so you guys can see it. Kind of looks like a weird brown here, but best believe the brown is very nice. They got the same sort of green texture going on there. The green leaves that are appearing on Groot. And one thing I will say about this figure is that they really did. I can't tell if the face sculpt is new, but they definitely got the eyes a lot better than that 2018 one. Because the 2018 one with the eyes that it had, ooh, did not look that great. The 2018 one did not have eyes like that. So that looks a lot better. That looks like Groot a lot more. The 2018 one looked like a nightmare a little bit. And Groot comes with an interchangeable set of these twigs, as you guys can see here. So they look pretty cool, man. I love accessories like that. Pretty long twig. It extends his arm out by like a... It doubles the size of his arm and adds a little bit more than that. So I like that. And the other one breaks into some separate branches and stuff like that. So I think that that's really cool. And he also comes with a gun. I have it posed with my blonde Nebula right there, but that's the gun that he comes with. As y'all can see. Pretty cool. I like it. I like Groot a lot. So yeah, Groot looking pretty cool. I mean, there's not much to say about him. He's the same basic sculpt as that one, same basic Marvel Legends articulation. And he's a pretty cool figure. Now, moving on to one of the best figures of the year already. I already know it. You guys already know it. This is Jane Foss Thor, aka Natalie Portman, aka Mighty Thor. So, this is a figure appearance. We've also, I believe, a lot of us have been asking for a Jane for some time. I mean, shoot, Jane hasn't really had any super heroic character appearances, But for the first two movies in Thor's trilogy, a sort of quadrilogy so far, she's played a very important role, you know? I mean, for the first two, at least. Especially in Dark World, she was kind of the center of the plot, you know, revolving around the ether and everything like that. So it was kind of strange that we didn't have a Jane figure by then, because we have a Louise figure and we have some other more civilian-esque figures like that. So the fact that we didn't get a Jane figure, who's sort of the love interest and like an intermediate, like, sort of main character, was kind of interesting. But honestly, I'm so glad that we waited, because this Jane Foster is one of the best female Marvel Legends, of course, period. Again, double-jointed, pinless arms, double-jointed, pinless legs. Natalie Portman got super buff for this role, and that is accentuated in the figure with the arms, as you guys can see there. The arms look super duper good. I like that. I like that a lot. Turning it around so you guys can see more of the torso there. Look at the detailing. You guys can see she got the Thor discs. A lot of nice sculpting there. It just looks absolutely fantastic, even down to the boots. Ever since 2017 with that last Thor wave, I've always wanted to see an MCU-defied version of Mighty Thor. I feel like it would always be a really cool design, and the way that they've translated it into film, just the merger between Marvel Studios, the costume designers, and the way that Marvel Legends are able to bring that out. The costume, it looks beautiful. And she comes with some of the best face sculpts of the year so far, as we can see. So there's her helmeted face sculpt. Sorry guys, there, I'm shaking the camera a little bit. I had to pick this up. And here is the Natalie Portman face sculpt. Look at that. That looks just like Padme. That is crazy. That looks just like her. They did a fantastic job on this face. That is ridiculous to me. So, only background I know about Lady Thor, I just dropped the head sculpt, but that's fine. Only background I know about Mighty Thor, Lady Thor, is that she is apparently, in the comics, Jane was suffering from, my friend told me, what was it, like cancer or something like that? Some terminal illness. And so she somehow gained the powers of Mjolnir, I believe. I forgot what he said. He had given me something about that. But we'll see how Jane gets these in the movie. Honestly, I don't even really super duper think that that's our Jane Foster from our 199 Earth. I feel like that's from a different universe. But that's just me. I could be wrong. Only thing that's sort of weird about her is Mjolnir. So we've had a lot of different Mjolnirs in the Marvel Legends line. And one thing I'll say about this one, even though it's like a reforged one, it has a lot of nice sculpting there. It's hard to pick up on the camera. But as we saw in the trailer, her Mjolnir is sort of cracked, so it's all sort of stitched back together, molded back together, whatever, as you guys saw in the trailer. But her Mjolnir, this figure's Mjolnir, is super duper big. Like, it is huge. It is a huge Mjolnir. I don't really have other Mjolnirs around here to compare it to that I can easily take, but it is significantly larger than past Mjolnirs that we've gotten. I mean, larger than Worthy Cap's Mjolnir, and I thought that one was still pretty big. This Mjolnir is huge. So who knows, maybe it's actually supposed to be bigger. Maybe when she reforged it or anything like that, you know, it just changed up some of the space there. But yeah, that Mjolnir is huge. It's a big Mjolnir. But figure herself, it's beautiful. Alright, and Korg. Okay, 8 figures, we've blown through them. Korg. So Korg is the Build-A-Figure. A lot of people have some very negative views on Korg because we had just gotten a Korg pack that had been relatively cheap a few years ago. But one thing I'll say about this Korg, I love the detailing on this Korg, man. It's a really nice looking fig. It's significantly beefier than the Korg that we had a few years ago. It's got some more bulk to him because of all this armor and different stuff that he got on. I love the sort of Viking look that he has. And I mess with it. Only thing I can complain about this Korg is, number one, his legs. Like the ball joints are too high or like too low down, and they cause his legs to like want to spread apart. So it's always like he's always has his legs spread out like that. It's hard for him to bring his legs into, you know, the standing straight motion, because it's always just like he's trying to do like a cone sort of formation stance. And also the paint on him, I wish they had used the darker paint that they had used back in 2019 with that Korg. because this sort of lighter paint, while it does still look like Korg, it's still a pretty, it's an exceptional paint, but that's about as light as I think it can go. Any lighter and it just look bad. So yeah, that's pretty nice. You guys can see though, it looks like Korg, undeniably. New face sculpt, new arms, pinless legs, everything like that. And it's a pretty beefy Build-A-Figure, guys. I can't even lie. It's not small at all. It's a beefy Build-A-Figure. I can understand this being the Build-A-Figure. And honestly, considering how little we know about the movie, I don't know what else they could have included. Maybe a Zeus, I don't know. I think Marvel Studios is still playing his character design kind of close to the chest for now. But yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Whew, this video is running long. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, Thor Love and Thunder wave. Honestly, I like this wave a lot. There's a lot of mixed opinions on this wave, but I love getting waves like this where we can just completely expand our MCU shelf with some nice character designs, and some figures of some characters that we've been waiting for a long time are being delivered here in sort of different appearances that we didn't really expect that we'd get back then. Like appearances that we weren't asking for at the time, but I think we definitely benefit from, especially in the case of this Jane Foster, because I would have taken this Jane over any of the other ones. This figure is magnificent. If you're going to pick up any one figure in this wave, at least pick up the Jane for you. At least pick up the Jane. I'm going to advise everybody to pick up the Jane because that figure, magnificent. Magnificent. So overall, I'd give this wave, scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this wave a solid 8 out of 10. The only thing dragging it down for me is the lack of paint on Thor's, really it's only the lack of paint on Thor's, like, legs. As you guys can see, they're on his thighs. The lack of paint there is sort of bumming me out because I was really looking forward to getting that design. But other than that, all the figures in this wave, absolutely solid. Standouts being Jane Foster, King Valkyrie, and honestly, the Armored Thor for me. I mean, even though it's the only thing that's sort of dragging this wave down for me in a 9 or the 10, it's still a fantastic figure. I can't even lie. And very nice piece, that one. So, great wave, pick it up. Individually scaling, I'll give Jane a 9 out of 10. The only thing dragging Jane down is the fact that she kind of has a hard time standing a little bit if you guys get her out of the package. A lot of her joints can be pretty stiff right out. Then I'll give Groot here a solid 8. No reason for me to give him lower than that. I'll give Thor up there an 8. I'll give Ravager Thor a solid 8. I like him as well. Only thing dragging these two Thors down, again, not really the only thing for Thor, but only thing dragging Ravager Thor down is just the Stormbreaker. I don't like the Stormbreaker that much. I wish that it was a different mold. I'll give Gorr an 8. I'll give Valkyrie a 8.5. Really nothing bad about her. I just want to see what that deluxe one looks like because it might come with something that this one was missing. Star-Lord, I'll give him a 7. Realistic, you know, a pretty grounded Star-Lord figure. Doesn't have a lot of articulation there, but still looks good. And Korg, the Korg Build-A-Figure, I'll give him an 8. He's a pretty nice Build-A-Figure. So, no, yeah, wave is an 8 for me. I like the wave. I like the wave a lot. I think it's pretty nice that y'all should all give it a chance when it becomes a lot more available, I believe, come the 26th of this month. And so, yes, ladies and gentlemen, are y'all looking forward to Thor Love and Thunder? Are y'all picking up this wave? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching. And hopefully next time I come to you guys, it will be something like the Infinity Ultron wave or something like that. Come on, man. Infinity Ultron is going to go right beside these guys. I can already see where he's going to go. Right there. I'm going to move these Shang-Chi figures somewhere else. But for right now, I'm super excited for this movie. Super excited for Phase 4. You guys stay safe out there, and I'll catch you all next time. Always remember to be the best, and I'll holla at you.